Greetings, greenhouse people. I'm your host, Bill Calkins with Ball Tech on Demand, and on the agenda today is a topic that's pretty cutting edge, and not necessarily because it's brand new in the world of horticulture, but due to the fact that this type of production is expanding and becoming critical to more and more growers all across North America. And I'm talking about tissue culture. And like you, I'm excited to hear more about this from our guests today, both of whom have tremendous knowledge to share from research and application perspectives. Specifically, they're discussing tissue culture acclimation and the key components to success in ornamental plant production. Joining me today is Deanna Felton, longtime propagation and production manager from Sunbelt Greenhouses in Georgia, and Dr. Nathan Johnke, the culture research manager at Ball Horticultural Company in Chicago. And I know you guys have a lot to say on this topic, so let's get started.
All right, so the last part of our success components is the feedback, which we cannot stress enough. So talk about some of the things we've seen as we've worked on this project together and what feedback you're providing through Ball and also to the labs.
So one of the things that we saw, we had a syngonium that had fusarium. I didn't that saw there was a problem. We were able to get the lab to correct it, and it looked kind of black coming in the bag, and they were able to correct it. And now we actually have gotten really nice looking syngonium without a problem. Sometimes you can get tissue that is will look broke down, and you can see below there's a good example, a picture of where we had a lot of fusarium on that one picture. And then you can get breakdown coming in. If it looks kind of vitrified, you might end up with maybe the next day that the plant just totally collapses. You can end up with over-calloused, like we were talking about in the aglaonema, and you really don't want to stick that type of material if it's overcallous, because it may not even root for you at all. And if you've got growing points that are damaged, that could be an issue for you. What we found is the alocasias can have a little bit of yelling to them, and they seem to survive it and come out of it as long as you have some, the new shoot is okay. But that's some of the challenges we've had going through the process of learning how to grow this crop.
Yeah, you can see some musa here in the top right. Like those might have a leaf spot here and there, and that might be a judgment call of whether do you want to risk that or not. But if there's damage on there, I would definitely provide that feedback to the lab that, hey, this is damage coming in the bag, and we might stick it, hold on to it, report back in a few weeks later. But again, then you also need to, it may not always be a lab thing. Consider, hey, do I have the right acclimation? Do I have the right environment? And then if you checked all those boxes, look at other things of why the plants might be breaking down, because a lot of this post-stick breakdown is going to happen within 24, 48 hours. And that could be poor quality of the TC coming in from the lab. So with that feedback, we have a lot of different options on providing feedback, right? But some of the most successful ones are specific with photos, right? We provide a lot of photos.
Right. Yes, a lot. Yeah, because if the lab doesn't know what you're seeing, it's hard for them to correct the issue. And you can see on the picture down on the right where we've got where the callus is too big, the plant is excessively big, and then you've got some there where it's kind of okay, and then you've got where you can see that's what we're shooting for there on that's an aglaonema, and that's what we would like to see. And you can have you can see where the some of the plant material was out to the edge of your cell, and then some of it is really small. So if you're wanting to your lab to come out with more uniformity within your bag, it's really important to provide this feedback to them. And in our process right now, we look at them at the time of stick, and then we also 1 week after stick provide that information back to the lab to see what we might have if something collapsed. if there are other issues that are happening. And then it's important through the growing process. If you see other things that are happening, you need to provide that information back to your to the lab and to maybe your broker, so that they know what's going on. It's going to affect your the end person is your customer. So if it's something that maybe it was small, maybe you're not going to hit your date, and you need to let your customer know that you're not going to hit that date. So we try to, at 2 weeks before ship, look at, are we going to be able to hit our numbers that we've for our customer, or is something going to need to be back ordered? Because that can happen if things don't go as planned.
Yeah, so the earlier in the process that you're looking at this stuff and comparing it to your spec and ideal sizes, the better you can gauge whether your crop is going to make it on time or not. And, obviously the earlier the better. Everyone can make adjustments, and then people can get the product they need. So you'll see that in a lot of our pictures, we have this grid here in both of these. So get some gridded paper for the crew that's inspecting and the crew that's sticking. Put some photos up of what the specs should be going into the tray, so everyone's aware and sticking the same quality. And then that's going to make everybody's life way easier, especially for the reporting process.